with the rest of the photographs and tape recordings she made. So I thought what was most interesting is that she tried to hide it from me, and then that she laughed and smiled at the end. I thought that was the most interesting part myself. But so yes, I did assault a couple of cabinets, but I did not touch Miss Heard. And as you can see, I think, no.
And you may have been drunk in that video, correct?
There's a possibility of that, yes, sir.
You poured yourself a mega pint of red wine, correct?
A mega pint?
Yeah.
I poured myself a large glass of wine.
Right.
I thought it necessary.
All right, still with me. Criminal defense attorney David Bruno and former Department of Justice senior attorney Tammy Allison. Tammy, let me start with you. When I saw that video, it was disturbing to me. I'm not sure exactly what happened. You couldn't tell from the angle if he pushed her, if he was just knocking stuff on the floor. Your thoughts on what we watched and what message that might send to this jury?
I think it's a little triggering for all of us, definitely for me. You know, I've shared many times, I'm a survivor of domestic violence, and that's what domestic violence looks like. A lot of times when you're in a relationship, you don't know that that's domestic violence because we've been programmed as a society to think that domestic violence is a closed fist punch to the eyeball with a black eye. No, that's not what it is. That what we saw in the video is domestic violence. And I think that the jury as well is going to take that into consideration, especially given his response after it played. There was silence in the courtroom. Everyone was kind of like, ooh, that was a lot, you know? It was triggering for everybody. And he wants to crack a joke like, Mr. Pirates of the Caribbean, like this is not a line in a movie, sir. This is a real life, and this is what you did. You're talking about you don't know what date it was with your big goblet of wine. I think that it goes right to the crux of the case here, which is his allegations that she defamed him from that op-ed. That video in and of itself throws his whole case away.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to escape it, Dave Bruno, and I want to touch on the point Tammy made about his tone. We've seen a tone throughout where I think he thinks he's being charming or funny. He'll say something that feels like an inappropriate time. I want to get your thoughts on the tone that we've seen from Johnny Depp from time to time.
Let's remember who this witness is. This is not an everyday person. This is an A-lister.
Yeah.
He is used to the attention. He's used to people laughing at his jokes and being the man in the room that everyone wants to talk to. So that does not translate well in front of a jury, because this jury is going to ultimately decide credibility. They're going to hear from Amber Heard next, and she's a good witness too. There's a lot of talk about her and her depositions and how she did and how persuasive she is, right? So I think the biggest takeaway from that video that we just saw, first of all, to your point, Michael, we really don't know what happened, but he's clearly intoxicated. He's clearly lunging. He's doing things with property in front of her. And he made the admission, I assaulted a couple of cabinets. That's a quote from him in the explanation of what the video showed. Now, where I am in the state of New Jersey, you can get a restraining order based on criminal mischief alone. That's a predicate act. That's considered domestic violence. A definition of a domestic violence in New Jersey, at least, is criminal mischief. You don't need to assault somebody to get a restraining order in the state of New Jersey. But for this, we're going to be determining whether or not Amber Heard is a victim of domestic violence. Now, she may testify about being assaulted, but at the very least, you have these types of videos that show a side of Johnny Depp that is consistent with the type of testimony we're later going to hear of the defendant.
Yeah,
so that's my biggest takeaway. The admission on assault of cabinets is domestic violence in and of itself.
That's a fantastic point, and we see a very scary Johnny Depp in these videos, and we hear and read the text of a very scary Johnny Depp, which makes it all that much more plausible. But I want to get to that restraining order, because yesterday, right at the end of the day, as cross-examination was just getting underway, the defense attorney left it at this point, and I want to touch on it. He talked about a restraining order that had been taken out back in, I believe it was 2016. Now, again, the op-ed was written in 2018. And then there was some divorce documents signed after this restraining order was gotten. So I have some questions about that. I want to listen to the cross-examination of Johnny Depp when he's talking about the divorce document that he signed regarding that. Let's listen.
And you spent a long time talking about the impact of the abuse allegations made in Ms. Heard's obtaining the temporary restraining order in, or the domestic violence restraining order in May 2016, right?
Sure.
And you testified that you wanted to fight it, right? But the fact is, you never fought the allegations in court in 2016. It was only after Ms. Heard published this op-ed in 2018 that you fought them. You never tried to fight them in 2016, did you?
I was advised by my attorneys not to fight.
And Mr. Depp, you see that this says marriage of Depp, correct?
I see that.
It's a legal document. Can you scroll to the signature page, Michelle, please? This was a document that you signed as part of your divorce proceedings, correct?
That's my signature indeed, yes.
Okay. Your Honor, move for admission of this document.
Any objection to that document?
No objection, Your Honor.
All right, 1458 in evidence.
May we publish, please?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Depp, that is your signature on the right, correct?
Yes, it is.
Dated August 15th, 2016, right?
That's what it says, yes.
And this is this is a document you signed, right?
For the third time, that is my signature, yes,
You
sir.
go to paragraph 27, please.
Paragraph?
Paragraph 27.
Okay.
And this paragraph is a joint statement that both sides agreed to release. And if you look in the block quote there, it contains the quote, or contains the statement, neither party has made false accusations for financial gain. Neither party has made false accusations for financial gain. Did I read that right?
You did.
All right, so Tammy Allison, is that a de facto admission? Does that prove their case right there? There was an outstanding restraining order against Johnny Depp, including allegations, accusations by Amber Heard of some form of domestic violence. And then there was a document signed, again, all prior to 2018, that said there were no false allegations or accusations made. And the words for financial gain were there, but I'm wondering how you interpret that. Could that just be argued by her attorneys as being a de facto win of their case?
Yes, I do believe so, Michael, and I think it's twofold. I think, he admits to what happened in that 2016 temporary restraining order. He admits to it, he signs it, and not until 2018, whenever the op-ed is published, does he bring forth this lawsuit alleging defamation, where clearly, if you already admitted to it 2 years prior, how is it 2 years later there's a problem with it? On the other hand, I think it speaks to his personality. We've heard him referred to as an A-list actor. He's not a normal person. I'm sorry, he puts his pants on one leg at a time, just like the rest of us. He bleeds, uses the bathroom just like us, okay? So it does not excuse his bad behavior. That bad behavior also includes going after your ex-spouse for speaking her truth as a survivor of domestic violence. Going after her in this type of scenario, the fact that we're even talking about this is a form of abuse. He has sued her for defamation. That is abusive, knowing that you abused the woman and you're continuing to abuse her through abusive litigation tactics. And she's not the only woman that's going through it in this country. I am, for example, and a lot of other people are, and I'm glad that this is something we can talk about and educate the viewers on.
And that's exactly what her attorneys are arguing, that this lawsuit in and of itself is all part of that abuse and intimidation being used by Depp and his team. All right, both of you stand by. Great stuff there. We're going to take a break. One of the reasons all eyes are on the Depp and Heard defamation trial is the airing for the couple's dirty laundry. And a look into the lives of their A-list Hollywood friends. Now, Depp's good friend, star Paul Bettany, came up today on cross-examination. We're going to take a look at their relationship and some of the disturbing text messages sent between the two. So keep it right here on your front row seat to justice.